All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Terry Menstein. I once again want to welcome you to this wonderful podcast known as Truth Untold. It's a place where on and as we do and we talk about CDB. How you pay you, the truth pay you, not be our concern, but our concern is that may it be well with you. Ndị Igbo na-asị na ka o si taa dị mma ọ dịbara gboo. So you're welcome. Our guest today is somebody you people already know. No need to introduce them again on this podcast and outside this podcast. Who am I talking about? Ihe, the light of Africa.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome again.
Thank you so much for welcoming me here again in the almighty podcast.
Yes,
Untold. And then we're about to tell that same very truth that people are afraid to tell again.
Yes, so you know hear them now. That same truth that people are afraid to tell you is what we are telling you. Because I have a philosophy about life. I say it is better for me to tell you truth today, make it vex you, then tomorrow will settle. Than say I lie for you. We good today. Tomorrow you realize I lie, we quarrel. Yes. So that one I know the inside. So thank you very much, my brother. Once again, make I do call for you now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, my brother, nowadays, I think people are laying much emphasis on Western lifestyle. Yes. And this emphasis on Western lifestyle has so much deprived us of our primogeniture. It has deprived us of our naturality through existence. And then it has cut off a lot of culture. This Western lifestyle has curtailed us and placed fear that necessities are no longer being attained. One of this is the case of divorce, marriage, and polygamy. So I would want us to touch few of this points. It is marriage that begets divorce, and it is marriage that also begets polygamy. So I want us to buttress on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, my legendary actor, Tenkubo. And again, I appreciate you for giving me this opportunity to spread this light to a generation that has been lost of direction. And in this particular podcast, we are going to be discussing polygamy as it forms the base roots of African man culture and why deviance from it is the origin of all the evil that we are facing today in our society. When you talk about polygamy, you are talking about the origin of how the family of an African man is formed. It's important for us to realize that when you come into every species, the most important determinant of every species culture, the most important determinant of every species behavioral pattern, cultural behavior, is their family system. This is not just in humans. This is also in plants, animals, and even in inanimate objects. Because during your secondary school days, when you did your basic chemistry, let's start with inanimate objects. You discover if you come to your chemistry, the first thing that we introduce you to is the periodic table. And the periodic table is what groups elements into different families. And then when you begin to study that even inanimate objects follows a particular family pattern. So you now come, you see the group 1 family, you see the group 2 family, you see the group 3 family, and then you see the group, until you see to the group 7 family. And one very interesting something in these groups of families of elements is that every particular element in a particular family behave the same exact way. For instance, when you come in the group 7 elements, you will discover that every element in that group 7 just need 1 electron to attain octet. Then you will see Mr. Fluorine, then you see Mr. Bromine, and so many of them. And so they all are electronegative and they are reactive. So anytime they are coming to marry from you, all they are taking is 1 electron. So the system of marriage is, let us go to look for a man that will take 1 electron from there. And then there is group 1 electron. Every element in group 1 family just need to lose one electron to attain octet. So why group 7 need to gain 1 to attain octet, group 1 need to lose 1. So when an element from group 1 like magnesium goes to meet an element in group 7 like fluorine, so group 1 we lose 1 electron, group 7 we collect 1 electron, and then we form magnesium fluoride or magnesium chloride. So even the system of their family determines their marriage system, an inanimate object. Then you come to plants, you discover if you come to plants, there are different families. There are the rosaceae, there are the different type of family, and then you discover in every family it follows the same system of planting. You see, there are ones that we call the grains, which are the rice. We always, anytime we want to plant them, we go and look for a swampy area that is always constant of water. And then there is a particular one that doesn't even need much water. There is one that the seed goes beneath the ground, and there is one that the seed comes out. So even in plants, families determines how they're born and how they behave. And then when it comes to animal, you discover there are animals that by nature are very, very polygamous in nature, and there are animals by nature that are very, very monogamous in nature. So when it comes to human being, our family system actually determines the origin of our culture, because in social studies they will always tell you that family is the smallest unit of every society. And so the smallest unit of this every society will form the wider character and behavior of everybody in that society. And then when you come in this whole world, there are actually 2 types of culture. One is the masculine culture, and the second is the feminine culture. And so in a masculine culture is actually a culture where men takes leadership of the family and leadership of the society. And so if you come to Africa, you discover this is a culture that we practice in Africa. It is a culture that is built on truth, because men tell a lot of truth, because man take responsibility. Man is like a CEO in a company, and there is no CEO that lies in his own company, because the consequences of lying in the company will only come back to the CEO. So you don't want to lie because you know the responsibilities on your head. Follow me. So a masculine culture is built on truth, and that is why you look in the olden days, the staff of authorities in the hands of the oldest man in Africa that invalidates that man to lie. And then the second type of culture is the culture of the West, called the feminine culture. The feminine culture is actually a culture of woman leadership. Women rule in the family, and women rule in the greater society. And as such, number one, that culture is built on terrible lies, because by nature a woman tells a lot of lies. And the reason why a woman tells a lot of lies is because a woman is impulsive in action. A woman will act and then sit back to think the effect of her action after acting. The conscience of a woman is the consequences of her action, but the conscience of a man is thinking even before he acts. So a woman tells a lot of lies. Even today, if you see a man who is very, very good in having women around him, that is a man who knows how to lie. A woman regards an honest man as a terrorist. A woman regards an honest man as a liar, as an evil person. So that culture is built on terrible lies because it was meant to fund business. But the masculine culture was built on truth because it was meant to unite the family. And that is why if you come to the Western world, you discover the coat of arms of justice is in the arms of a woman. And the coat of arms in the African culture is in the hands of a man. Follow me. If you see the quotations coming from the Western culture, you will discover they are opposite of the quotation coming from the African culture. The white man will speak and tell you that truth is bitter. Why is truth bitter to the white man? Because truth is bitter to the ear of a woman. But in Africa, our ancestors told us that truth is life. If you see somebody who is speaking so much truth in the Western country, they say that man is speaking truth to the power. He's very, very courageous. He's speaking truth to power, individual. But if you come to Africa, you will never hear anything like one man speaking truth to the power in the olden days, because it is the power that speaks truth to the people. The power, the authority is in the hands of the power that invalidates the elders, the system, to lie to their power. So our Xenozo tongue is pierced that invalidates them from lying. Follow me. So now, these people practicing a feminine culture, the system of the family they follow is the family that empowers a woman. And how do you empower a woman to rule a family? How do you empower a woman to rule a family is to put the man and the woman as an equal partner in the house. So you discover when you open the Bible being a book that contains the culture of the West, it began by telling you that the day a man married, they open the Bible and says, for this reason, shall a man leave his father and his mother and come under a woman, and goes to cleave to a woman. Now pause. The first question you should ask yourself is, why should a man be told to leave his father and his mother? You know, the defense of a man, the strength of a man is his family. A man who is glued to the family, you cannot necessarily do that man much. You can't harm him. So for you to make that man vulnerable, for you to bring that man under the clear docility, leadership of the woman, the first thing you do is to separate the man from his defense, which is the family. So the Bible clearly says, for this reason, shall a man leave his father and his mother? It says, and then cleave to a woman, and then the two shall become one. And then they went on to say, what God put together, let no man put asunder. Pause. When two people comes to become one, it simply means one person was eliminated. Because in your basic mathematics, when 1 plus 1 becomes 1, the elimination happened. And then you begin to ask yourself, who was eliminated? And the simple answer is that it can only be the man. Because a woman by nature is very, very selfish. A man by nature is a very, very generous creature. And when you meet selfishness with generosity, the selfish woman is going to swallow the generous man. So they know the man is already dead. So they says, when this 1 plus 1 comes together, only one person will be alive. And it says, and therefore, whatever God puts together, let no man put asunder. You know, when you want two people to fight to death, what you will do is to create a system by which there will be no third party. I don't know whether you watched wrestling in the olden days. When you hear that Undertaker is fighting a fight that one person must die, there is no referee. Yes. So it only becomes the two of them. So he says, until death do them part, follow me. Then you come down to African man culture. Number one, African man culture is built on, therefore, shall a woman leave her father and her mother and cleave under a man. And they are not one, they are two. There are a man and there are what? A woman. And why is that so? Number one, marriage in Africa is like a transplant. That somebody plants flower in their compound and that flower is had a nursery bed. So you transplant that flower, from that time it is early. So in Africa we practice early marriage because a woman is somebody that you need to shape into mold at early age. Because if you are given a bar of iron, you know that that bar of iron must be formed into shape when it is hot. If you allow that bar of iron to become cold, it will no longer be formed. If you want to transplant a pepper, there is exact time it must be transplanted. If it overgrows that time, it will no longer grow. So, therefore, shall a woman leave her father and her mother? This is not a woman that is going to just leave her father and mother in body. This is a woman that is going to leave her father and her mother in body, in emotion, and everything. It's not going to be a woman that comes into your house and then maybe you buy a car for your mother as the father. And the woman asks you, you buy a car for your mother, what of my mom? That woman have not left her father and her mother. That woman's leg is just in your compound, but her spirit, body, and soul is in her father's house. So the first job an African man does who wants to bring a woman under his clear leadership is to separate that man, separate that woman from her family. Because life is all about ownership. And in the principle of ownership, two boss cannot own one person. Two masters cannot own one person. So if a woman didn't regard the husband home as her only home, or the place where she's owned, the question becomes, where else is she owned? Back home. So the first job a man does is the job of what? Taking that woman away from her father and her mother. And then when you bring that woman into your house, like a man who have transplanted a nursery pepper, You discover when you do transplanting, the first thing that follows is meticulous work because that flower is struggling to die. You discover that woman, the first thing you have to do is to make her under shape. And then the purpose is defined. She knows she's going under a man as a bird comes under a tree. To perch under that tree, receive shadow, and reproduce children. The happiness of the woman that my husband is alive and able to shelter me and my children. The man we see ebe belu ugo belu. Came when I guess meaning as this woman enters under this tree and perch, and she's getting satisfaction, she should also stay in her axis while other women come and perches. And then the question becomes, why will other women come and perch? Number one, the reason why other women will come and perch. A man who marries a wife can be likened unto a woman who gave birth to a child. And in the principle of motherhood, there is no mother who wants to have one child. And the reason is because the mother understands perfectly well that one and only truncates independence. Again, a man who married a wife can be likened under a CEO who opened a company and desired to bring in workers to work with him. And every CEO understands that one and only worker truncates submission. A woman understands that if I only have only one child with me, that one child is a frustration of peace of mind. If I beat that one child, if I caution her, the one child, if I apply the normal discipline on the one child, we'll just find out that the one child will tell you that I want to go and kill myself. And then when the mother discovers one and only child wants to go and kill himself, the mother will start begging. So for you to be able to separate that child from terrorizing the mother, the first thing you do is to make available more children in the house. Once they become 5 children, and the one of the child says, if you beat me, I will kill myself, you tell the child that if what will happen that you will not eat this night, so that you will make up your mind whether you truly want to die or whether you want to live. You know what that woman is exercising? Freedom, because she have multiple children. Now, the ideology is that a man remains equal with a woman unless he add an extra wife in that house. So what is the job of that extra wife? The job of that extra wife is what Africans call gender segregation. So the base root of polygamy and monogamy, the difference is gender segregation and gender mixing. The question becomes, why do we separate a man from a woman? Number one, a woman by nature is an impulsive creature. A man by nature is a logical creature. And in every same society, before you can say that anything is under same society, simply means that the impulse is under the complete control of the logic. This is my hand moving up and down, an impulse in my hand vibrating my hands. But this hand is moving up and down according to the control of the logic in my brain. So the impulse plus the logic produces action. But I am called a same human being because the impulse in my hand is being controlled by the logic in my brain. Now, imagine if this my hand is moving and the logic in my brain can no longer, control it. What they will now say that this young guy is a mad. And if you look at a mad person, the first thing we discover is that the impulse in his body is not resonating with the thinking he's thinking. So, if a woman is impulse and a man is logic, how do we bring this impulsive woman under the complete leadership and control of that man? What do? You introduce a second wife in that place. When you introduce it doesn't end even with a second wife, a third wife. What it will do automatically is that it will separate the man completely from the competition between the man and the woman. The fight you are fighting with your wife today is not because your wife is a wicked mad woman. The fight you are fighting with your wife today is because you and your wife is the only person in that house. I challenge you, take one post. If you come on to me, I will cook you and culture you. And add extra 2 or 3 wives in your house. If you don't know internal peace, man, no blame will be the light of Africa. Because what we are talking is not what we read in a book. It is that which our hands have handled, which we saw with our eyes that our fathers did, and which the result is a proof of the testament.
Yeah.
So you discover As that second wife come or the third wife comes, automatically the woman see a fellow woman to compete with. And so the man is being freed from the competition of that, with that woman. Because a woman by nature is a very competitive creature. If you have a wife in your house and another woman enters into this house, the first thing your wife does is to veto her dressing. She is going to wear what she's wearing on her head with the wig she has. If the wig she has is more costlier than the one that woman will have, there is a sense of ego. She wears what she wears in her leg. If what that woman is wearing in her leg costs more than her own leg, she feels like, I have to go to market. She checked the woman's handbag. Everything she's doing is weighing her fellow woman, trying to compete with her. A woman brag that I have this wristwatch, I bought it $15,000 and I'm the only person who have it here. But as a man, you have a car 30 million naira here. You don't even care whether there is many other people here who have it. You are cooperative. You even want to drive a car of 30 million and see other men driving that same car with you to form a convoy. So we are cooperative in nature. Why a woman is competitive in nature? So a cooperative man cannot go in competition with a competitive woman because competition is natural in her DNA. So what we are finding today in Africa is that the cooperative man have gone into the house to become a partner of the competitive woman. So when the woman presents her competition, the man is now saying, I'm built for cooperation, I can't do this. And the woman says, you must. Before you know it, the competitive woman begins to swallow the cooperative man. The man is trying to show her his magnanimity. And the selfishness of the woman is gripping this generous man. Because the man have gone to compete with the competitive woman. What did our ancestors do? Okay. Introduce a second and a third wife in the house. You know what it will happen? Great things fall apart. You will discover the competition is among the women. None of them looks at themselves as equal with Okonkwo. None of them look at themselves and says, my husband, where are you coming from? Because we are coming from this and so time. What if I start doing like this? In the principle of CEO and a worker, the first thing that must be defined is that there are privileges that are available to the CEO that must not be available to the worker. If that gap of parameter is not defined, submission cannot be gotten. And if that submission is not gotten, you can't get that easy of leadership. Monogamy is like coming in a military setting and telling a military general with the same rank to submit under another military general with that same rank. You discover it's not possible. What you will do is to strip one of a star. If he was holding a 3-star, this one was holding 3-star. What go to 1 star from this one? And automatically you see the submission comes. And then you ask yourself, why do the white people practice this monogamous culture? It is because they want to create a society that business will be moving. And if we want that business to be moving, create fighting between the man and the woman in the house. Today, what we have in Africa is that an average African woman is a husband hater. And in the process of hating the husband, business continues to grow in the society. We are still buttressing on why did our ancestors segregate men from women. When you look at a man by nature, you will discover everything a man portrays is somebody who protects the society. And everything a woman portrays is somebody who protects the home. So if you did basic physics, you will discover the smallest particle on earth is atom. Then if you come into atom, you discover atom is a polygamous man. You will see the electron, you will see the neutron, and you will see the proton. The proton is always one place. Then you see the electron moving from shells to shells. That electron is a man. He touches the home. He touches the society. The woman only knows about the home. But then there is a neutron. A neutron is that man separating the proton from competing with the what? With the electron. So anytime the electron is moving away from the nucleus, the centripetal force is pulling it back. That man is that electron. That woman is that proton. Your second and third wife is that neutron. That without it, you will not know peace in your house. Because it will just be about you fighting and competing with the woman that you are supposed to have as that's supposed to see you as a protection. as a defender, and as the father and the glory upon my head. Because when the white man entered Africa, the first thing they did was to push a fight into our home by convincing women that men are their enemy. And how did they do it? The white man told you naturally that a man is polygamous in nature. I'm not the person who made this statement. The white man told you a man is polygamous in nature. And the same white man went ahead to create monogamy, which now blocks the pathway of the nature of the man, just for him to condemn the man before the woman. This is my nature. And the white man have told you that the one who works against nature creates consequences against himself. Working against nature is invitation of consequences. So you created a pathway that blocked the nature so that you can condemn the man and tell the woman that the husband is cheating. It is not the man who goes to sleep with other women who cheat. It is the white man who is blocking the way of the nature of the man who is cheating the man. I'm called the cooker of men. Oh yeah, na the day you on my WhatsApp group, because I have a WhatsApp school where I culture people. I will explain this thing in such a way that it becomes a lifestyle. That's number one. The origin of African man family is ownership. A man must take full ownership of the wife. And what it means is that the woman must be accountable to the man, and the man won't be accountable to anyone. Why is it so? It is because the man takes responsibility of the house. The man is very generous. Do you understand where I'm coming from now? The man wants to take care of everybody. He wants everybody to get the best. And the reason why nature created the woman to be very, very selfish is because the woman takes care of the two most important things in a family. One, the infants, the little newborn babies. And two, the kitchen. Anyone who takes care of the infants must be selfish, so that provisions will always be available for that little born. And then anyone who takes care of the kitchen must be selfish, so that the kitchen will never run dry. But then the man takes care of the home and the society. The one who takes care of the society must be very generous, because it takes a height of generosity for a man to go to fight for community land. And the man is ready to lay down his life for his land community to be what? Preserved. What manner of generosity are you talking about? So when you now look at the generous man and this selfish woman, the first origin is, how do we separate this man from this woman? And then when you look at it, we begin to look into the extensive importance of this in our culture. If you come to Enugu State, or let me just use Enugu, let me come to Nsukka. Assuming I'm from Nsukka, the whole plot of land in Nsukka maybe, let me just use an example. 100,000 plot of land in Nsukka. And then by natural law of life, there are a total of 10,000 people in Nsukka, 10,000 human beings. 60,000 were women, 40,000 were men. Naturally. That's how nature have always made it to be. And maybe at the end of this podcast, I will explain to you why nature always made women to be more populous in number than men, if you remind me at the end of this podcast. 60,000 were women, 40,000 were men. And now, when there is time for us to share this, 100,000 plot of land at Nsukka, we discover the whole of this 100,000 plot of land at Nsukka will be shared among the 4,000 men of Nsukka. And these 6,000 women will not be given even a single plot of land, even though the women are more in population. And every of that single girl is going to go home that night to ask their father in a very soft tone, Daddy, why did you share all your land and you did not give me? The man is going to, knock his staff on the ground and tell the woman, it is because you are going to get married and you will inherit a land in your husband's place. So the reason why that lady was denied land is an oath of covenant that she has been guaranteed a husband. Therefore, any man who participates in a land sharing where men are given and women are not given have sworn to participate in polygamy. He has sworn to take a vow that we must make sure that all women in this house get a land. Now, imagine I have 4 sisters and I am the only son. My father have maybe 12 plots of land. The whole 12 plots became only to me. And I began to introduce one man, one wife. Now, everybody begin to hit the one man, one wife. I now have 3 sisters who are unmarried, watching only me take my land. Who is Ihedi? Ihedi is a renowned criminal. So an African man who participates in communal land sharing and comes back to preach monogamy is by nature a criminal. I have this argument with a reverend father who gone down to his village to share his communal land at Enugu-Ezike. He says that if they start sharing the land, that they should give him. I told the man face to face that land in Africa cannot be given to a man who is not married, since that land will not be given to women. That the reason that land is given to men is a ticket that that man is going to use that land to feed for the women. We discussed this for like 30 minutes and the Reverend Father blocked me on WhatsApp. Follow me carefully. Polygamy, as it guarantees every woman inheritance. Polygamy, as it guarantees every woman that was denied of land a place to say to my children, this is a place that you can build your house. This is a place you can farm. This is a place that I can say is my home. Follow me. Number 2, it guarantees every woman a husband, because the origin of prostitution is that there is a young lady who is not married. Growing up in the days of your mother or your grandmother, you will discover every woman, irrespective of her face structure, was married. The reason was because the type of family that was practiced then was looking onto character, guarantees every woman a husband. And so when every woman is married, there will be no person that will be outside doing prostitution. Then we now come to number 3, because this number 2 I gave is just polygamy as it touches the society. But let us look at it as it touches the family internal peace. If there are 1,000 divorce cases today being treated in the law courts, 950 is emanating from the woman complaining about cheating from the man. And the woman calls it infidelity, or the woman calls it cheating. But I stand this afternoon to tell you, my brothers and my sisters, that a man went out to bring in another woman into the house is not infidelity. The word infidel means preservation, protecting something, faithfulness. And a man shows his fidelity to his wife by taking responsibility over her. A man's fidelity is not texted by that man going out to bring another woman. It is out of the generosity of the heart of a man and the care in the heart for women who didn't participate in land ownership that the man begin to think about bringing in another woman into the house to call his second wife or third wife. Follow me. Follow me. So you discover there is this particular woman who, even though she haven't she haven't left the husband, have just hated the man. Every day is this question: where are you coming from? What is this? Who is on your call? And all of that, because somebody have created a very wrong ideology that the man is now the partner of a woman. A man cannot be the partner of a woman, like I explained to you. That impulse cannot partner logic. If my leg is impulse. If my leg became a partner to my brain, you know what it means? I want to cross main road. My head turns and look and says, wait. Because my brain is going to tell my leg, wait. But now, because my leg is now a partner to my brain, no longer under the control of my brain, my leg will now ask the brain, why should I wait? What do you mean wait? Explain to me why I should wait, or I will keep on moving. You know what it means is that this leg is going to kill me. Because if it doesn't take instruction from the brain to start crossing, the next thing is death, and we will all suffer the consequences. So we don't partner a man and a woman. Anybody today who is watching me, who is calling your wife a partner or a couple, you are in for a total disgrace and a total shock and ruin of peace of mind. Your wife is not a couple, your wife is your wife. And that is why in African cosmology, we don't call our wives sweet names like better half, sweetheart, my love, my soulmate. No.
My baby.
In Africa, we call our wife our name. Like me today, I equally call my own wife her name. Call your wife her name. Chidimma, Chiamaka, Ujunwa, Eziamaka. You know what it means? It puts that woman under perfectly understanding that in this family, the leadership is under you. Because while you are calling her name, she have no right whatsoever to call you your own name. So as you are calling her name, she'll be calling you Nai, the mama, daddy, Onyemwem. You see the sense of difference, gap activate. One day me they gonna call me baby. A man moto baby get away, see the woman, madam, sit baby, sit down. Oh, naked or blue baby, be and sit down. Wait for one go. At least when your mom sit down, she will sit. Now you see, drop your phone, she will drop. Daddy, she don't go out of this house, she will not go. Oh baby, Rabia, sit down. You click it any baby. Get another phone and give as a baby. And this as a sweetheart. You don't know that those things you call love are very provocative names that destroys your boundaries of leadership. Because love is like a poison that a man who begins to set a trap in his house for a rat under his house. You know, there is an exact level of intelligence that a rat uses to live inside the house of a man. Rats can live here for, let me say, 8 months and you will not be able to kill him. You know why? That rats have mastered the technology of understanding. So when you come and keep poison, you keep fish, you keep crayfish, that intelligent rat will come out and look and say, no, this man doesn't keep fish like this. That rat or whatever is like he knows that there is no way you will carry poison and put in your apparatus. Are you understanding me? But that foolish rat, once he sees crayfish or he sees that fish, or she will just rush and put mouth there. What is the idea? Love is like that fish that was wrapped around a poison that women hold for man. A woman is like the body of a snake that hold very, very, very bad venom against a man. But the way that woman can be able to activate the venom was wrapped around love. So once that woman is flashing love, she wants to make you to fall emotional. And that emotion is your gateway of killing and death. So if I meet you, the first thing I do is to culture love out of you. I will keep you on a table like a surgical knife. I will remove everything called love. Love is the origin of a manipulation. Love is a prison built to destroy people with good hearts. Only men with pure hearts become victims of love. Because if this man as great and powerful as he is now, if he begin to talk at a woman will reserve permanent respect and fear for him. Until what that woman will be doing is trying to bring this man in the corridor or the principle of, do you love me? Can you do anything for me? Once this man begins to subscribe to that love, the gateway of manipulation starts coming. So because this man loves her, the next question becomes, so how much did you send to your mother? So you are sending your mother money without telling me. Love has given her the key to start interfering with even how you are treating your own mother. So you send your brother to outside Nigeria without us discussing it. In your house. And you are asking the woman, when did this one start? I have to consult with a decision. Love has given her the key. Love. It brings a matured man under the vulnerability, dictatorship, weakness of a woman. It's a chain that the woman puts under the neck of, Mike Ejaya was singing a song, he says, you know, Africans didn't understand that song. The Mbemanoga there was a woman. The Enyi was an African man. The rope was love. On a wedding day, a woman comes out and the woman is shouting, it's my day, girls. Girls, say hi to me, it's my day, it's my day. You know, why she's saying it's my day? The man says, I think I'm the person who is spending all this money. How come it's now your day? It's not me, the day of me. You know, what that woman you're saying is that is the day, a full grown-up man to herself. Because I remember in the days of my grandmother, they say today is the wedding day of a woman, you see her crying. You see the bride crying. Why that bride is crying is because she knows she's undergoing permanent separation from her family to a new family. But today, you see a girl who is about to get married and she's shouting, "It's my day, it's my day." Or, yeah, the woman is celebrating that today I have gotten a man. The last year I can't share my man. Who is your man? I'm a target. I will coach you. A man doesn't belong to a woman. A man,
Emma, I tell people,
yes.
I say to people that first of all, I am a great champion of polygamy.
Exactly.
I am a great champion of a man must be pleased when it comes to marital issues. Because why? When you take retrospection to our forefathers, how they performed their marriages and how they controlled their homes, you begin to see that it is in the cosmology of, let me not say Africans, they cannot go beside and go defend who I know, but in the Igbo cosmology, the one that I know, if not the entire Africa, a man is called my lord. And what is my lord? Onyenwem.
Exactly.
That is what our mothers were calling their husbands. Meaning that the day you take up the decision to leave your father into another man's house, you're going into another man's house with complete submission and loyalty. Meaning that if the man says stay here, you have to stay here until he finishes what he's doing to come and take you out of that place. And then when a girl begin to grow to the age of 6 years to 10 years, the mother starts inculcating into the brain of that child that one day you will live here to another man's house. These are the prerequisites. These are the conditions with which you will use to live long in another man's house. 1, you need to be submissive. 2, you owe him total submission, loyalty.
And allegiance.
You owe him total allegiance.
Yes.
He is completely in control of everything that concerns you. That child begin to grow with that knowledge. And then in that line, she begin to prepare herself according to what the mother had taught her. The moment she arrives the man's house at 14 or 15, she's already showing the man that I am not coming here to challenge you. I am not coming here to impose anything. I am coming here to take care of anything you drop in my palm. I am here to make sure that anything you give me to hold, I will hold it until when you come to say, give it back to me, and I'll give it back. But today, and secondly, our fathers then married more than one wife for so many reasons. 1, some people married because either their first wife did not give them heir apparent. You married the first wife, 1 year, 2 years, she didn't give birth. Umunna will start advising, why don't you marry another wife so that that one will give you a child that will answer your name when you are gone, which is the reason in Igbo cosmology, the Igbos answer Ameshina.
Obinna Mechina. Yes.
Reason the only way for that Amma not to chill is for you not to stick to one woman who did not
reproduce a male child.
So you need another one. Now, that one. 2, it is an entitlement of certain men of certain rural stage to have more than one wife. It's an entitlement. If you are a great Dibia, if you are a king, if you are a potential, if you are organism or any also, it is your entitlement to own more than one wife, not by option. It is a prerogative.
A man with one wife is not called a man.
Yes. So it is a prerogative. That is why I said a certain class of man deserves more than one wife, so that his nomenclature, his position will be well pronounced. Otherwise, when you go where others are talking, they say, nah, check that outside. Because this cartel or this position has a class, and one of those classes, you must have more than one wife. Today, the Western lifestyle has controlled men that even when your wife, 20 years after marriage, does not have a child, the Western lifestyle has told you to keep
You are trusting on Jesus.
Keep believing that one day Jesus will do it. Now, the Western lifestyle has told you two things. Either you keep believing in Jesus or you divorce. Divorce was not in the DNA of our forefathers. Instead of divorce, you marry another. Instead of divorce, you keep marrying until you get what you're looking for. But today, the Western lifestyle has told you, if your wife is not forth producing, divorce her and marry another person. And then, if because you did not produce and your husband decides to marry another one, divorce him, leave him, let him be with another wife. That is not our culture. That is not our nature. So we are saying to our African brothers, the idea of divorce, the idea of one man, one woman, the idea of gender equality is complete destruction of man. It's a complete destruction of man's structure. It's a complete destruction of culture and tradition of a particular person known with. Because why? This is not in our DNA. This is an introduction that came from another man. That is why I keep telling people, well, once you are able to control a mindset, you'll be able to capture the person. Because what makes a man is his mindset. It is the ability to reason. Well, once you capture the ability of his reasoning, you have killed him completely. I said to somebody, why do I need to sit today and then go in line with what the Western man told me to do and abolish mine? When you take a cow into bush or goat into bush, the moment a goat arrives into bush, who teach or who taught a goat which one to eat and which one not to eat? It is nature. Nobody taught cow that this leaf is eatable and this one is not eatable. Nature, blueprint of nature, told the cow, don't eat this one, eat this one. So as man, until another man came and then saw that your nature, that this is what you eat, that man said, how do I pull this person out of this thing that he eats? Is for me to capture his mental health. The moment I capture his mental health, I will now move him out from that thing that he eats and introduce him into what he has not eaten before. So, the act of marrying more than one wife for African basic reasons is our DNA, is our culture. Until one man came and saw that when a man marries more than one wife, there is peace in the house. When a man marries more than one wife, there is greater production. When a man marries more than one wife, it is uneasy to penetrate the man and conquer the man. So what do we do now? Is to find a way to place enmity between the man and the woman. How do we achieve this enmity? Is to let the woman know her potentiality. Is to let the woman understand the equality. After all, you are born the same way he was born. So why are you under him? You're supposed to come on top. How do we do this? They said, well, once we place a system of education, and then this one is a lawyer, this one is a lawyer, the two of you now have the same profession and on the same periphery. If this one is a doctor, this one is a doctor, we have now brought the two of you into the same periphery. So no one now should say, I am bigger than this one. After all, we attended the same education and we have the same degree. But in the olden days, when the woman is under the control of the man, when we have not started experiencing the Western education, when we have not started experiencing the Western lifestyle, the woman is being educated by her father and her mother. The girl child is mainly educated by her mother. The mother begins to plant the knowledge of control, the knowledge of caretaking. The man goes out. The man tills the soil. The man hustles. You are meant to be at home while the man is away, hustling, working hard. The responsibility of the man is to take care of his home. And the responsibility of the woman is to make sure that whatever the man brings home is not lavished. That is why even in the Bible, they picked the idea and put in the Bible and they say, the woman who nags often destroys the home, but the woman who controls keeps the home together. So they have this idea was borrowed from African cosmology that the woman is not supposed to complain, the woman is not supposed to nag, the woman is supposed to be, when the man speaks, the woman, you said something that when a woman is about getting married, she sheds tears, she cries. The essence of the cry is not because she's refusing the marriage. The essence of that cry is, child, so I'm leaving this, my family, to go to this family and then start life afresh. I'm going into this place where I will no longer be addressed as Chidimma Okeke. Now they are going to address me as Chidimma Okafo. They have pulled my name and now it is going to be replaced. And one thing with name replacement is this. Well, once you begin to answer another man's name, you are a complete subject to the man of the man. Because let's bring it on this table. When a woman still answers her father's name, and then she have a boyfriend. Today, the boyfriend said to the girlfriend, tomorrow, I want you to come and sweep my house. That same tomorrow, the father tells the daughter, tomorrow, you're going to go to the market and buy me food. Now, what will happen? The girl will call the boyfriend. My father said I should go and buy him food that tomorrow. I cannot be able to come. Why is she able to tell the boyfriend that I cannot be able to come? It's because why? She is still answerable to her father because she still answers her father's name. The moment that boyfriend of hers comes to the parents and then pay her bride price and the name change, she begins to answer the man's name. When the man tells that girl, go and buy me Coke, and then the father say, go and buy me water, she will tell the father, Coke. I cannot be able to go and buy that water for you. Why is she able to tell her father so? Because name has changed. She's now answering another man's name. So the moment you begin to answer another person's name, if John, when he is with his father, he answers John, okay. And then the father now set him up to go and do boy. The moment John goes to Ekeson's shop and then acquire ID card, he got one ID card there, John Ekeson's. John Ekeson's, he's now answering his August name. If his father calls him, John, I want you to, from Onitsha, go to Oka to go and buy me. John will say, Mpa, my August said I should go to Asaba to go and buy things. The father will not talk. Why will John have the right to tell his father that my August said? Because John is answering John Ekeson. That is what is in his ID card. When John misbehaves outside, police arrest him. Police will not go to John's father. Police will come to Ekesin's place. So John is traced to Ekesin, not to his father. Because why? He is answering another. So, in the olden days, when a woman is answering her husband's name, it means that she is a complete subject of the man. You only do what the man says. Your opinion can only count if the opportunity is given to you to speak. Even in the Christendom, when you go to Jehovah's Witness, the doctrine of Jehovah's Witness is that the woman cannot mount the pulpit to speak over men unless she is given authority by a man to go and talk. But in the other Christendom, you see a woman answering prophetess, standing on pulpit to speak to men of high caliber. This is redundant. This is complete uncultured. For a woman to stand on the pulpit and address ndị nze na ọzọ. Complete uncultured. Now, who introduced this unculture? The Western lifestyle.
Which is their culture, because what you call uncultured is another man's
culture. No, uncultured, I mean, we
us.
Africans, we the Igbos, it is uncultured. And another uncultural thing done is when I come as an MC, when I'm called to MC an occasion, and then all of a sudden they tell me you have to get a clergyman here to pray opening prayer. It is my job, no problem. I say, okay. I call, and so I see my Indians and also removing their caps for a small boy in the name of Christianity. You remove a title, culture. You are upholding a great value. And then one small boy will come and devalue you by removing your cap in the name of prayer. So, when we talk about polygamy, polygamy is one thing that has kept a man lived long in a marriage. Today, when you go to the northern part of Nigeria, who proudly practices that polygamy without fault, you see them living long, happily, everybody with joy. Everybody knows his or her position and they do things in unity. But go and check the man who married one wife. He's not always at peace. When once he's outside and then it is getting late, the phone rings, he will shock. Hey, my wife be coming, my wife be coming. Because why? He is not. How do I defend myself before my wife that I wasn't cheating outside? But when there are 3 wives or 4 wives at home, and then the husband is not yet back, the 4 of them cannot be stupid at the same time. The 4 of them cannot be greedy at the same time. The 4 of them cannot be selfish at the same time. You will see this one will go to this one's hut. I've not seen our husband though. I hope he's okay. This one will go to this one. I've not seen our husband though. I hope he's okay. They are now all troubled. So why is our husband not back yet? And then when the man comes back, you see that joy in their faces. Oh, my Lord, where have you been? What happened? I hope you're okay. I hope you're fine. I hope not. You see that synonymous welcome.
Okay, they are the
good in me. But when it is only one woman, my brother, you go explain where you come from. And then, in the olden days, one of the reasons when our men we are getting married to more than one wife, like I said before, those of class, those of values, who married more than one wife, one of the reasons is there are spiritual inclinations that backs marrying more than one wife. One of the spiritual inclinations are there are men who, when their wives is seeing their period, when she is menstruating, she is not supposed to cook for the man. She is not supposed to come close to the man. So when a man marries more than one wife, 3 wives, And then the first wife is on her period. She goes into her hut, maintain herself. The second one cooks. When the second one is on her period, the third one cooks for the man until the first one is free from her menstrual cycle. All these things were built in order for the man's spirituality not to be drained, tampered. But today, Western lifestyle has erased that spiritual capability that even marry your wife, you and the money where she dey with them for that place. Women also, today women have deprived themselves from the originality of their womanhood. That a woman have refused to understand that the moment she is on that circle, she is totally a different human being as at that time. That is when she begins to commune. If she understands her potentiality, you begin to commune as at that time. But today now, Western life, even a woman in such circle will go to club and start jumping up and down. A woman in such circle will go to a man's house. A woman in such circle will begin to do anyhow without minding, because the Western lifestyle has told you it is nothing. It is no longer sacred. Because in Igbo we call it nso. Nso means the moment you are there, you are now
preserved.
Nobody needs to come close to you. Because for an Igbo man to call it nso, it means at that point in time you are completely preserved. It means at that point in time you are in a different world. Now, nature now is taking place in you. But all those values has been lost because the Western man came and told you one man, one wife. But if you read the Bible, even in the Old Testament, we know about Jacob. You understand?
They are married two sisters.
Married the first one, and then he fulfilled the marital rights. They gave him the senior sister. He said, no, not be that one I want. He went back again and served the organ. They gave him the second wife. So why did they give him those? But today, the Western man came and gave you reasons why you should not marry more than one wife. Even when you are dying in one wife, keep marrying her. Die there, die for love. That is why when we talked about love, I said, these are the clear evidence of what love can do. The man said, die for them, die inside the love. Even if she's killing you, my brother, there, die.
The origin of love is a man who is willing to die.
That is it.
And we don't want to continue having our men dying in the arms of women. Because a man was not created to die for a woman. A man was created to die for the society. So quite unfortunate that African men have signed to die under the arms of a woman. Like our legendary actor pointed out, he says about difficulty of childbearing. I can also say that this is one of the greatest antidotes of family internal peace today in Africa. I tell people that before white man came to Africa, there is no child who is fatherless, there is no child who is motherless, and there is nothing like child adoption in Africa. Child adoption is like buying a human being. Humans are not bought with money. Why is there no motherless babies home in Africa before the white man came? Okay, a man married 2 or 3 wives. Maybe one of the wife dies. The 2 wives that is still alive will take care of the woman's children. If the child even need breast, they can continue breastfeeding the children. The children will grow to a certain height before they even realize that this person is not my true biological mother. Unfortunately, the Nollywood began to bastardize stepmotherhood and begin to paint a picture that a stepmother only reserves wickedness for the other colleagues' wife. But this has not always been so. Because we know in the days of polygamy, which is still practiced today in the north, these children still eat in the other woman's hut,
Salt.
and there is nothing to be afraid of. But when the white man now brought this ideology of one man, one wife, a woman now dies, and the man want to go and get another wife. Another wife say, before I come into the house, you have to take off these other children, because me, I cannot come and start taking care of another woman's children. The children goes outside the streets, and well, next thing you start hearing that those women children have been taken by the orphanage. They call them motherless babies home. Some of these are children that their mothers got the pregnancy at home. There was no man to say this is his husband. And so we began to, the Western destroy polygamy, and then created a society by which they trap so many children, which they train to a certain height, and they sell the children. They call it child adoption. And child adoption is the greatest evil a man can do, because you don't know the blood of a child you are going to take. Number one, you have to understand that there is no responsible man or woman who will ever give out his own child or son to be sold to another person. How do we tackle this issue of child adoption? If I'm married for 3 years and there is no child coming, my kinsman will invite me, like you said. Nah, if they say they the same fertile, they'll go and say, nah, I have to one name okay, that we can do this work so that your wife will start reproducing, because we'll be nam echikwana. And it's fine. What we came is to produce children, not to have sex. And if they check and they say, the says it's okay, they say get the second or the third wife.
Yes.
If they bring a second or the third wife, then automatically a child comes. But if a child didn't come after second wife, then no, it's a default.
Yes.
And somebody has to be fine to go and do the job. Today, we created a family by which the man is celebrating that after 12 years of marriage, God gave me a son. Are you not stupid? If you married at the age of 30 years, and after 12 years, God gave you a son, it means God gave you a son at 42. God gave you a son at 42. Before your son became responsible to feed you, your son must be 30. 30 plus 42, that's 72 good years. So you'll be training a child until 72. You see the foolishness of deviance from nature. Working against nature is all about suffering consequences. And then you look at the rate of divorce today in Africa that we want to call. You look at the rate of single mother. You look at the rate of children who are facing hazard from being raised from either a single father or a single mother, that kind of trauma. And then you discover this is something that we have to urgently address to touch back the root of our culture. Again, you look at the societal selfishness that we have today in Igbo land. If you go to north, you don't even need to go to north. If you're in this southeast, you see two Hausa people that are fixing slippers. You bring the slippers to this person, he's working, and that person brings the slippers to that same exact person, and he sees his brother is jobless. He takes the slippers and gives his brother. An Igbo man can never do it. An Igbo man will tell you to go and come back and take the slippers. You know the ideology. This one was coming from a family where communal living was the best route. Because as he grows, he sees that I take another woman's children as my own brothers. I take on this person's woman as my own. So we all are one bunch. But when you come from that monogamous family, there is only the interest of you to progress, to succeed, and you don't really see the communal existence, the communal progress of everybody as something that is at heart. That is why the Bible says that when others say there is a lifting, a casting down, you shall say there is a lifting up. That's a cause. That's really a cause. If your brothers are dying and only you are alive, just know that you will eventually die.
Of course, no.
If your brothers are not getting a job and you are celebrating getting a job, you are a fool. If the culture should be, when others say there is a casting up, I shall say there is only a lifting up. You are not going to be the only person going up while other people are dying.
Right.
And so, when we want to create a society of collective progress, collective unison, we must return back that polygamy that guarantees our communal livelihood. Again, even if you look at it in terms of strength of life, you discover polygamy is the only reason why Igbos survived slavery and Biafran war. Mazi Okonkwo have 30 children and 4 wives. So when the slave master came and carried 20 children, Mazi Okeke still have 10. Yeah. Mazi Okeke have 18 children. When Biafran war came, 9 died, 9 survived. if anything like Biafra was going to happen again in Igbo land, many lineage is going to close.
Close. And I tell you, many will close.
If anything like slavery is going to happen again, many lineage is never going to happen because you have so many African families today that only have 2 sons. Beyond even Biafran war and slavery, you know, there is a principle in we call in life preparing for the unprepared of life. For instance, today we live in an African country where our life is not guaranteed. I traveled down from Abia and Oka down here in the States. I was coming, I didn't see any much good road. I didn't see any much protection. I didn't see any much security. I can be coming there now, here this kidnap and the next thing is dead. I can be coming here, yes, that have happened. So when such happen, what becomes the savage? Go down to your village, take a population census of all the women that have reached the age of 80 to 90 years. Ask them. Many of them will tell you how many of their children they buried.
Yes.
So put it in place that you can actually bury your children in your front. The question becomes when one of your child die, what becomes the savage? What will you use to withstand, to hold yourself? You now discover why nature gave animals with weakness the easy reproduction. The easy reproduction. Polygamy forms the base root of our culture because the way we live is the direct opposite of the way that the white man lives. The white man wants to move business. The white man wants to move the selling of abortion pills, the selling of condoms and everything, keeping so many women on marriage to move party clubs and all of that. An African man wants to create a society where family is the gateway. And the only base root is polygamy. Any teaching that a man gives to a woman that invalidates that woman from freeing the man to have more wives. I've just crucified the family peace. And that is why I tell people that Christianity is the origin of family destruction of peace in Africa. My fight against Christianity is purely ideological, owing to culture, not just because of the fictional story, because I've seen the negative impact of what they are doing in African man family. That a man who have never tested what marriage looks like was crowned to become a reverend father, and then the allegiance of your wife comes under this idiotic reverend father who begin to teach your wife how to go into your house to fight you by telling your wife that the husband is cheating by having more women. You are an idiot if you're a man who is going under a marriage Bible counseling under another man that is yet unmarried, that will never ever text what marriage looks like. You are a fool, because it's simply what you have done is that you have created a family by which you as the man will speak, and the woman will tell you that is not what the pastor says. That pastor says this is how you are going to treat her, and this is not how we are going to create a society. So the first thing we have to understand is that loyalty of a woman cannot be shared between 2 men. When you marry a woman, first thing you do is to strip the woman off of allegiance of under any other man, but a pastor, both any kind of anybody, so that your voice becomes the beginning and the end, so that we can reactivate the real word called master, so that when a woman says she's my king, we understand that there is no king over one person. When you say she's my king, you have to first show that the king has freeness of subjects under him. So we want to create a society of cooperation, a society of defense, a society of peace, a society of communal living between a man and a woman, a society where we can live again as a perfect relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Monogamy thrives on the daughter-in-law seeing the mother-in-law as somebody poisoning the mind of the husband against her. But polygamy creates chronology. That is why in the olden days, if I marry my wife, the first thing I do is to take my wife to go and stay with my mother. My mother will mold the woman in my family shape. Today, you know, again, every single thing, the woman will be telling that the Bible says, shall a man leave his father and his mother. You don't know that why you are leaving your father and your mother is that so that the woman can be able to deal with you severely. So we want to return African back to the family that they take leadership. And the only way they can take leadership is to make sure that we have more than one woman in the house. And I know we are going to actualize this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, here, the Light of Africa. Thank you for this knowledge shared. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't say women now, on the comment section now, somebody say, hey, why, hey, don't worry, no day comment section, no day or has a grumble. Come to comment section and air your mind. Mogu know as it be. And then to my fellow men, some of you who understand culture will fall in line, but those who don't understand will still but come to comment section and air your mind. That's why we are here. That's why it is called Truth Untold. So come and air your mind. Let us hear from you. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Keep watching Truth Untold. More episodes coming your way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, our legend. I truly appreciate and honor you.
Thank you.